Hello everyone, welcome to a Porterverse Workbench Halloween special. The model of focus for this episode is one that I teased in last week's Halloween special, this being the one and only Archibald. This is a simple yet surprisingly difficult character to make. Like many episodes before us, we will start with the character's backstory, and then we will head into the model making process. And so, without further ado, let's get started with the backstory of Archibald, the Ghost Engine. In 1911, the Knapford and Ulstead Railway and the Big City Railroad strike up a deal that would see each railway build a locomotive for each other. The KNURs ended the deal, saw them build the engine known as Puffa, while the Big City Railroad would build an 080 tender engine known as Archibald. Each engine would arrive at the new homes in 1912. Archibald proved to be very proficient in passenger work, and was very popular given he was an American-designed engine working in the British Isles. The good times would not last for long, however, as in 1915, Archibald was found dead in the harbor. He had drowned. The investigation following the incident found that a deranged crew member was at fault, as he was recently laid off and had hijacked Archibald in the midnight hour and driven him into the sea as an act of revenge. The exact crew member was never caught, however. Many years would go by with little mention of Archibald's name. That was until the autumn season of 1937. Reports began to flood in from engines and staff alike that a glowing white engine with red accents was terrorizing the Northwestern Railway. Ghost investigators at the time said that the late Archibald had become what is called a pugnacious ghost, which is known to be very hostile. This was evident in the red accents and the semi-naked appearance of Archibald. A plan was organized to try to capture the ghost and to try to hold it down for a while they figured out a way to get rid of it. In this plan, the various Northwestern Railway engines attempt to surround Archibald, and for a brief moment, locomotive number 1 Thomas was able to couple up to the tender of his old colleague, and he braked intensely. The force of Thomas's braking, combined with the jerking forward of Archibald trying to escape, led to the tender coupling to the engine snapping. Archibald rolled forward a few yards before stopping, and after a brief moment, he faded away into nothing, never to be seen again. This is where the story of Archibald, the Ghost Engine, comes to a close. Archibald's model was surprisingly easy to make. It was mostly the story that was difficult, but I'd say I figured it out in the end eventually, you know. For the model, it was simply my old Big City Road engine that was last seen in my very first model train collection video from 2022. It was just simply modified and repainted. I removed the front pony truck and cab to achieve a decayed look, as that's the kind of look I was going for the ghost here. After all the body work was done, I then primed the body in a white primer, and simply left it as it was. I then worked on the tender. This tender is a monstrosity, I know. But don't worry, it's on purpose. I like to imagine that the Big City Railroad just applied British design cues from memory without putting any real thought behind it when designing Archibald. Hence the very weird tender. I used 2 all-engine scale push-along tenders, specifically from Henry and Gordon, to make this. So the tenders and cut them down in certain sections and make sure they'd fit over the motor housing, and then use some card to smooth over the side profile to make sure it looked a little smoother, as it'll be just protruding weirdly before without it. The center has 2 cold ports, and I like to imagine the center of it is where the water is stored. And after all of that was applied, I took some paint pens, mostly red and black, and made out various details. The red being the most prominent, as can be seen in the model, making out various details like the boiler bands, the funnel cap, the smoke box door, and among other parts. And then the black for very small details, like some pipe work here and there, nothing too much. And the same old process was applied to the tender, with the red and black going in various places. And then, for the last step, I gave all parts of the model a nice clear coat with matte clear coat. After all that, Archibald's ghost was finally complete. And that's kind of surprising part, it actually kind of runs as well. It's a tender drive engine, so yeah. Thank you all very much for watching this episode of Porterverse Workbench, and I shall see you all in the next one.
The chocolate ice.